We've now looked at Windows SMB utilization. We're going to change the pace a little bit and get into some Linux utilization of SMB. It's going to look very similar. We'll also introduce a couple more tools that you can add to your toolbox. Start by getting our IP address. We're going to be on the same CIDR 24. With the .3 instead of being the .2, so that's going to be our target. And we see 139 and 445 are showing. And we didn't run a service enumeration. We just ran a port scan. So this column right here, it goes with what it's guessing the service is based on the known port. So it says Microsoft DS and NetBIOS, but if we ran an actual service scan on 139 and 445, let's try that without the space. But it even shows here for 139 Samba 3.4 to 3.x to 4.x. And we've got a work group of Recon Labs. So just by connecting, we get this host information, Samba Recon as part of Recon Labs as the work group. So we get some information about the machine. We could add that to our enumeration, our mapping list, if you will. What else could be in this work group? What are the other hosts? So now we've gotten a little bit of that information. We can go a little deeper on that because there's also a UDP, so we'll do the tech lowercase s, uppercase u. And if you don't do top ports with this, then it's a much longer scan. So we'll just do top ports, top 25. And I'm going to do that with a tech open. That way it only displays the ones which are open, even if they're open and filtered. If it knows that the ports are closed, then I don't even want to see those. Normally it'll show them. And UDP does take a little bit longer. This will be the longest part. And again, it's showing NetBIOS, but 137 and 138, we could do a service enumeration on that as well. And our scan results are back. We see that Samba with Recon Labs again. And 138 is showing filtered, but we get the same information. Samba Recon. Just on the UDP side. If we go back looking at just port 445, we can then run some scripts. We want our SMB OS discovery script. We've run that previously. I want to see what it gives us. It's going to give us the version of Ubuntu, or the version of Samba 4.3.11. Even though it says Windows 6.1, it knows what it actually is. We've got the computer name, which is Victim1, and the NetBIOS computer name, which is Samba Recon. Now, a tool we haven't gotten into yet is MSF Console, or Metasploit Framework, which is MSF. The Metasploit Framework it's actually a whole bunch of tools. It's a framework, all combined. Sorry, massively zoomed in, so you miss out on all the ASCII art here. They're well known for their ASCII art. But it's a bunch of tools all put together. You can see there's 1,882 exploits, over 1,000 auxiliary modules, a bunch of post modules, tons of payloads. There's evasion, there's NOPs. When you start getting advanced, Metasploit is your friend. We're going to use an auxiliary module. Tab completion, also helpful. If you're curious what you need to add, show options, shows you all your options. We've got a requirement for threads in this required column. We've also got a requirement for our hosts. So you set our hosts, then our IP address. Look at options again, make sure we didn't miss anything, and then run. If you're feeling elite, you can type exploit. Does the same thing. But again, we see that it's Samba 4.3.11 on Ubuntu. Same result, different command. We can leave MSF. There's a little bit more recon, new tool to utilize. NMB lookup. You can get comfortable with the help page, go and read the documentation in the man page. But what we are interested in is the capital A, which is going to be lookup by IP, and then our IP. And this is going to utilize that net BIOS protocol to connect. And what it's showing is several different groups and really what our connections do. So we see a 20 here. That means that we've got a server that we can actually connect to. In order to connect, we utilize SMB client. SMB client comes with most Linux distributions. Let's look at the help. There's a lot in here, but we want to list with capital L, list by host, and we're also going to take advantage of, well, we're going to check for a null session. See if one exists, and that's the tag capital N. So it was able to connect. It got some information. It didn't get a lot of information, but we see some shares. And we see IPC. When you see IPC with a null session, that's something we might be able to connect to. The last tool I'll cover right now is RPC client. And we'll look at the help page for that. Why not? We're going to connect with no user, or with a null username, which is like no user, no pass. So it goes RPC client, tag U. We just give it empty string, tag N for no pass, their IP address, and we're able to connect. It didn't give us an error, it didn't pop us out. We actually were able to connect. So now we're connected with RPC client. What we can do here is not part of enumeration. So with that, we'll end this. So now you've seen SMB can exist and be utilized on Linux as well as Windows.